Hey guys, welcome back! Most of you probably don't know that close to the beginning of my channel's life, I made a video where I attempted to rank the difficulty of playing each TF2 character from easiest to hardest. It sucked! That's about all there is to say about it. So, I'm remaking it. Now that I'm an older, stranger person and have played a lot more TF2, I'm coming out of the gate swinging with a brand new take on a terrible old video of mine. So let's get cracking. Here are the 9 classes ranked from easiest to hardest. Let's go! Bottom of the barrel, absolutely nothing easier than this, as easy as starting a bar fight in Dallas, the Soldier. Look, it's not rocket science, Soldier is just easy. You get such insane value just by shooting in the vague direction of your enemies. You have 200 health, and if 4 splash rockets don't kill the enemy, you have 6 shotgun shells left over to finish the job. Soldier is the easiest class in the entire game, and that's not even factoring in the insane mobility you can get by rocket jumping. Now, I know that Soundsmith has collectively given much of this community brain cancer, but hear me out. Rocket jumping isn't that hard. Don't get me wrong, it's not something a brand new player can just instantly start doing, but as a thoroughly mediocre rocket jumper myself, I can obtain this much speed just by shooting the ground beneath my feet several times. Soldier is one of the most fun classes in the entire game to me because I just don't have to try that hard to do well. I can throw on a podcast, equip pretty much any loadout I like, and I'll very likely be floating around near the top of the scoreboard within moments. It's fun to be this powerful for this little effort. America the Beautiful. Hang on to your hats, folks. It's gonna get spicy in here. The second easiest class in the entire game is the Sniper. I know, Call of Duty montage makers are practically having aneurysms at the sight of this, but yeah, Sniper is easy. In TF2, one of the most important skills you can learn is positioning, being in the right place at the right time to give yourself and your team the best chance of winning. Soldier can do well no matter where he is since he's so powerful and mobile, but Sniper doesn't need to move at all. Sniper literally just has to stand behind his team, far away from the big fight, and do his best impersonation of the CIA giving John F. Kennedy an unscheduled frontal lobotomy. It's like rocket jumping. People make it out to be way harder than it actually is to just click on the head, especially since the Sniper can totally just body shot people for 150 damage per shot. People get mad at you for doing this, but body shotting is a totally valid and effective strategy as long as it secures the kill. He is the only truly long-range class in the entire game and can dish out insane damage to anyone on the map at any time, and all you really have to do is stand in the dedicated sniper perch on the map and shoot people. I am a thoroughly mid-level sniper player, and I can pretty consistently get away with some nutty kill streaks as long as I'm focusing. And that is the only reason Sniper is higher on the list than Soldier, because when I play Sniper, I do indeed have to pay attention to the game.
Yeah, let's see what I do. What's this? Oh, what do you think it is?
You just...
With Soldier, things just die. Australia still is the second scariest white nation, because I mean, come on. Nobody's beating Poland. Okay, now that TF2's token easy mode characters are out of the way, it's time to once again be offensive. The number 7 spot belongs solely to TF2's best girl, the Pyro. Now I know, you're all thinking it, so I'll just say it. You don't like Air Blast because you have a skill issue. That video of mine rubbed some people the wrong way, and I think it's because it was kind of a disconnected, rambling rant. To be fully honest, I don't think Air Blast is overpowered, and it is certainly necessary to the balance of the game for it to exist. However, I find it tedious and dull to go up against, because if you're playing Soldier or worse Demo Man, your best option sometimes is to just not shoot your gun and run away and hope your team can tie their shoes long enough to kill her. I actually dislike Air Blast for the same reason most people hate fighting Sniper. Unless I'm specifically playing a class that can counter the Pyro, I have very limited realistic options to deal with her. My only counterplay being run away is not fun, and my proposed changes to Air Blast were to increase the fun of going against it without decreasing its necessary function. Spam is just part of TF2, and that includes air blast spam, I guess. That doesn't mean I have to like it. Anyway, Pyro is a lot of fun to play. As the only female character in TF2, she certainly adds some diversity points, and who doesn't love that? The flamethrower is kind of ridiculous, to be honest. The power you have to spread damage and create chaos just by walking at people is insane, and I think much of the frustration people experience when fighting against a Pyro is simply how hard it is to see what's happening. I mean, I can't even see the enemy half the time when I play Pyro, and I have minimized view models on. It's no wonder newbie free-to-play Pyros look so derpy. I mean, when your screen looks like this, it's no wonder that to other people you end up looking like this. That being said, she has limited range and she gets shut down hard by sentries and heavies, so the Pyro definitely takes more skill to play than our previous items on the list. Air blast aside, walking at people and flaming them down isn't that difficult to do, and I don't think even Pyro mains would disagree. The skill in playing Pyro comes from positioning, air blast usage, hitting your flares, and being aware enough to effectively spy check. If Pyro's primary weapon was a little harder to use, she'd probably be higher on the list, but the incredibly simplistic nature of the flamethrower has her this low because, come on, what I'm doing right now in this clip is not hard. Competitive players are not going to like this. Ironic considering the number we're on in the list. The King of Koth, the Badlands Brutalizer himself, the next class on the list is the Scout. I don't think I'm the first person to point out that Scout is a glass cannon. High speed, high damage, low survivability. New Scout players die so fast that they probably think he's the hardest class in all of TF2, and for a while, I agreed. However, as time went on and I built up some actual experience, I realized that the ability to control how much damage you take is so powerful. Scout's double jump in particular is nuts because you can switch directions on a dime in mid-air, kicking off of nothing to essentially turn any projectile class into a joke. Soldiers and demo men have a laughably difficult time hitting you if you just stay off the ground and deny them their easy splash damage. Meanwhile, you're bursting them down with your scattergun, one of the most satisfying weapons in the entire game. In terms of sound design, I honestly think the scattergun is the best single fire weapon of all time. Oof, that's good Foley. The simple fact is that once you get used to using the scattergun, it's not hard at all to run into a pack of enemies, pick off one guy, and run away before anyone can stop you. Scout can weave in and out of combat, possessing insane mobility that other classes have to struggle to obtain. Soldier and Demo have to sacrifice health and ammo to blast jump. Scout can just go places really quickly. If I realize I'm outmatched, I just leave. If I want to chase down a tricky flanker, I can do so and be back among my team before the soldier mains can wipe the drool off their chins. Scout is so fun and effective, and it doesn't take that much to be that good other than learning to effectively use double jump and aim the scattergun. Scout is not effortless, however. Like I said, he has low survivability and really needs to run away a lot to stay in the fight. Developing that sense of knowing when you're outmatched and being able to leave before your health reaches zero is a skill that not many people in TF2 have, and it's especially necessary if you want to play Scout. Also, the Natasha makes your life hell as this class in particular. Just saying. And now we reach the exact middle of the road, neither the easiest to play nor the hardest. The beginning of the end for brain dead fun. You can't just play this class mindlessly, despite what some people might tell you. Naturally, I'm speaking about the biggest, strongest, biggest guy in the game, Heavy Guy. Yeah, Heavy is so much fun as long as there are no snipers and no spies. It's a blast. Heavy is a class of contradictions. He's a huge guy with a big gun, so you'd think he'd be the hardest to take down, but the bigger you are, the bigger you are. His slow movement speed and mandatory delay before firing any of his primary weapons makes him easy pickings for more mobile classes like Scout. The act of shooting the minigun doesn't take much thought, but deciding when to do so does. Heavy is the most extreme example of why positioning matters so much in this game. He's so slow that being in the wrong place for even a second can get you killed, and there are some games where Heavy doesn't get picked by anyone because of how ridiculously punishing he can be to play. Snipers, spies, demo men, soldiers, scouts, all of these classes can eat Heavy alive for breakfast if the person playing him is out of position. All that being said, a Heavy in the right position can tear apart entire enemy teams. See, Heavy crumbles to focus fire, but when backed up by his team, he becomes infinitely stronger. There is also the niche strategy of playing sneaky Heavy, where you try to get around, beside, or behind the enemy to mow down several unsuspecting targets before waddling into the night, a fat and soggy stranger. But I personally have more fun being in the central nerve cluster of my team and popping every bag of blood that dares show its stupid face. Heavy is in the exact middle of the list. He requires an insane amount of positional awareness and game sense to play effectively, but shooting the minigun is easy once you can do that. Considering that aim isn't as much of a requirement with Heavy, he could only ever have taken the middle spot, which is why he's in the middle of the team in the class select screen. Huh. Hey look! It's Bakugo! Demo Man is, for my money, one of the most powerful classes in the entire game. He also takes a ton of awareness to do anything with. Here's the thing, with his 2 primary weapons, you can pump out absurd quantities of damage in a very short amount of time, but once you run out of steam, you're stuck reloading for a long time. The pipe grenades are good. They explode on impact for 100 damage each at any range and do plenty of splash damage if you miss. The sticky bombs are excellent. They stick to everything, can be detonated all at once for a burst of damage that no class can survive outside of an uber charge, and you get 8 of them per clip. The fact that the sticky bombs can be used as defensive traps and offensive airburst weapons gives Demo insane value whether he's pushing the choke or holding a defensive area. Any fight that Demo Man can control is an easy win, but if he gets ambushed or rushed down by multiple opponents, he crumbles fast. Demo relies on keeping good distance from his enemies so his stickies have time to arm, and so that he keeps self-damage to a minimum. Scouts and soldiers especially give Demo Man a hard time, and an air blast spamming Pyro can entirely invalidate the class in certain circumstances. Demo Man is a nuke when he has control. Maintaining that control is the secret to long-term success with the Scottish Bomber, and that is where the true difficulty of the class resides. All that isn't even to mention the mechanical difficulty. Pipe grenades are weird and fly in seemingly random directions sometimes. It takes a lot of practice to get used to. The sticky bombs can be spammed, but it really is overstated in the community how easy it is to do. You have to time the detonations in order to actually kill things, and that isn't as simple as it looks. People will complain regardless because nobody likes dying in video games, but trust me, as somebody who actually plays Demo Man for more than 5 minutes at a time, it isn't just pure carnage all the time. You have to earn the blood path, and when you do, it's a glorious slaughterhouse. Yeehaw. I don't think it's a secret that I enjoy playing Engineer. I've made a lot of Engineer montages and discussion videos because I really like playing Engineer. It's such a fun and complicated class. I'm not going to go all Uncle Dane on you. All I'll say is managing metal, placing buildings in effective spots, and making sure you don't just get rolled over by every random soldier that shows up. It's not easy. Engineers have to be very resilient in any given match, since the buildings they worked so hard on are guaranteed to go down at some point. I soften that emotional blow by simply using the Frontier Justice so I can get rewarded when my stuff gets destroyed. But yeah, it can be a bummer to spend like 10 minutes setting up the perfect spot only to watch helplessly as 4 sticky bombs cascade down from an unexpected angle and kill all of your buildings and yourself in a single detonation. It's also a case of the Engineer having so many good unlockable weapons to choose from. I mean, Gunslinger, Jag, Eureka Effect, Rescue Ranger, Frontier Justice, Short Circuit. If only I could equip all of these at once! Engineer has no bad items. The skill ceiling with Engineer is practically unlimited, and it's a class you can truly never stop improving with. I personally enjoy being such a fluid, dynamic support class that can easily provide assistance to teammates while simultaneously being able to kill enemies with a shotgun. Something about area denial and team support together in one package makes Engineer my personal favorite class to play, although he's not the class I'm the best at. If we're talking about experience, I'm the best at playing Demo Man personally, although I don't stack up to competitive players in that regard. Not even close. In any case, the amount of complexity contained in this one class makes him very difficult to play well. Do I even need to make this section longer than like 3 sentences? Medic being hard to play is so universally agreed upon that it feels redundant to even say it, but yeah, Medic is really hard to play. The class with the most worthless weapons in the game is also the biggest target of everyone else due to his healing, overhealing, and ubercharge capabilities. Killing the Medic is the #1 way to secure the advantage in a team fight. Being able to buff teammates to 150% of their normal health and provide 8 seconds of invincibility is such a game-ending power that Medic is constantly being stabbed, shot, burned, exploded, and otherwise harassed. Medic players don't just need mechanical skill, they need mental fortitude, because they will be killed, they will be spawn camped, they will get yelled at by their own teammates if they aren't performing well, and it will feel terrible. Most Medic mains, as in people who play only Medic and are either unbearably wholesome sweethearts who truly just want to help, or psychopaths who literally have bodies in the basement, there is no in between. A class this difficult changes you, man. Spy sucks! Spy is literally the worst class in TF2. Spy is terrible. Spy is constantly screwed over by so many different things. Spawning wall hacks, critical hit markers and vaccinator icons following his head, random spam, random crits, random Girardi, random spy checking from Pyros, the backstab randomly failing for no reason. And then when you actually start to do well, people bitch and moan at you in the game chat because you outplayed them. Playing Spy is an exercise in constant frustration, with occasional huge spikes of dopamine when you get a big chain stab or narrowly escape several people. Just think about the fact that Spy needs to carefully infiltrate the enemy backline, decloak at the perfect time and stab an enemy specifically in the back for an insta-kill, and then a medic can just walk up to you and insta-kill you with 4 times less effort because melee weapons have an absurdly high crit rate. Random crits are the main reason I will never agree with stooges who complain about the kunai and dead ringer, because what these items do is give Spy a fighting chance, and people are so used to just killing Spy for free that the moment it's in any way difficult, they lose their minds. Hey, Pyro mains, just because Pyro is designed to counter Spy doesn't mean you're entitled to the ability to kill Spy with 0 effort every time. If he's better than you, he should win. The kunai and dead ringer force you to work for it a little. Maybe air blast the Spy away from teammates so he can't keep stabbing them for health? I don't know. Try thinking for a change instead of just brainlessly saying kunai unfair just because you couldn't WM1 your way to another free kill. I'm sorry, that all probably sounded slightly unhinged. I'm just so sick of people acting indignant that Spy could ever be strong, when it takes so much work to make anything happen on Spy no matter what items you're using. It's the hardest class in the entire game, so if a Spy is repeatedly killing you and your teammates, it isn't because of the kunai or the dead ringer, it's because that player is better than you. Simple as that. Whew, that's the end of the video. I'm happy to have made this, especially since it's so much better than the first iteration. If you do watch the original version of this video, please just cut me some slack, I didn't know any better. That's all.
I'm going to saw through your